Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here because today we are taking a trip into a truly fantastic classic folktale. We're going to explore a really exciting story all about outsmarting bullies using absolutely nothing but the power of your brain. We've got an amazing cast of animal characters, a super sneaky plot, and a brilliant twist that you will not see coming. If you love a good story where the little guy wins just by being clever, you are going to absolutely love this one.
But right before we get going, let me ask you a question. Have you ever outsmarted a trickster? Have you ever had to use your own brains to outsmart someone who was trying to trick you or maybe playing a totally mean joke on you? It takes a lot of quick thinking, doesn't it? Well, keep that exact feeling in mind because the hero of our story today is an absolute master at turning the tables on people who are trying to cause trouble.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Meet the animals. Every good tale needs a hero and, of course, a couple of troublemakers. Here we have the fox and his very best friend, the wolf. Now, the fox was actually quite shy, but both he and the wolf shared a very big problem. They thought the rabbit was incredibly troublesome. And why is that? Well, because on the other hand, we had the rabbit, and the rabbit was witty, super sensible, and he absolutely loved teasing and ridiculing the other animals. The fox and the wolf were so tired of being made fun of that they made every single effort to catch him. But because the rabbit had so much common sense, he was practically impossible to catch. Getting a sensible, street-smart rabbit all alone in a quiet, solitary place where they could grab him was turning out to be a giant headache.
Section 2. The Sneaky Plan.
Getting the sensible rabbit alone in a quiet place was really hard, so the wolf realized they needed something highly mischievous. They needed a trap. The wolf came up with a brilliantly sneaky three-step master plan to trap our hero in a solitary room. Step 1. The fox goes home, gets into bed, and pretends to be absolutely, completely dead. Step 2. The wolf goes to find the rabbit, delivers the sad news, and invites him over to mourn. In Step 3, as soon as the rabbit steps into that quiet room to pay his respects, bam! The fox would jump up and seize him. The fox thought this plan sounded absolutely excellent, and they agreed to execute it right away.
Section 3. A very fake funeral.
So the trap was set and the plan was put into action. The fox ran home, jumped into bed, and tried his best to look as stiff as a board. Meanwhile, the wolf went out to find the rabbit. And let me tell you, the wolf put on quite a performance. He sobbed, he wailed, and he cried tears that looked incredibly natural and sincere for the sake of his dear friend who had supposedly just passed away. Hearing this terrible news, the rabbit received it with true sadness. He promised the sobbing wolf that he would absolutely go with him to pay his last respects to the fox. But, as we know, our rabbit friend is very witty and has a lot of common sense. Even though the wolf's crying seemed super realistic, when the rabbit actually arrived at the house, a little alarm bell went off in his head. He sensed danger. So instead of walking right through the front door, he stayed outside and just peeped through the window. Sure enough, there was the fox lying on the bed, totally stiff, just like a dead person.
Now, the rabbit was showing a very specific, absolutely crucial quality right here. Prudence. Prudence means acting with care and thought for the future. It basically means using your common sense when things seem just a little bit suspicious. For the rabbit, showing prudence meant he was not going to rush into that room until he was absolutely 100% sure that the fox was truly a corpse. It's a fantastic word and honestly a fantastic strategy.
Section 4. The rabbit's clever trick.
Standing outside that window, in his great wisdom, the rabbit conceived a brilliant idea to test if the fox was truly a corpse. He needed the fox to accidentally reveal the truth. Let's just pause for a second here. Put yourself in his shoes. The fox is lying there, perfectly still. He isn't breathing loudly, he isn't moving a single muscle. Do you think the fox is really dead, or is he just faking it? How in the world can the rabbit find out without getting close enough to be eaten?
Now, what's really interesting about this part of the story is the hilarious trick the rabbit decides to pull. Standing right by the window where he knows the fox can hear him, the rabbit says in a very loud, clear voice, "I am sure the fox is dead, because from experience, I know that any fox which is dead would normally raise up one leg from time to time and shout, 'You see!'"
The fox, lying in bed with his eyes squeezed tightly shut, heard this, and because he wasn't nearly as smart as the rabbit, he wanted to prove he was definitely, completely dead. So, without even thinking, he quickly raised up one leg straight into the air and shouted at the top of his lungs, "You see?"
Oh boy, the rabbit did not need a single bit of further evidence. I mean, a dead fox certainly doesn't lift his leg and start talking, right? The rabbit immediately knew for a fact that his supposed friend's death was just a mischievous trick to catch him. So the rabbit looked right through the window, smiled, shouted, "Not me," and immediately took off running, seeking refuge in flight, safely away from their trap.
So, the crucial point is, Section 5, the big lesson.
And just like that, the clever rabbit lived to see another day, leaving the foolish fox and the wolf completely empty-handed. So, what do we actually learn from our witty hero today? The rabbit's winning strategy basically boils down to a few great rules. First, always be cautious. Even when a story sounds super convincing, kind of like the wolf's fake tears, it's totally okay to double-check. Second, use your common sense. Your brain is your absolute best defense against tricksters. And finally, don't rush into suspicious situations. Just like the rabbit showed prudence by looking through the window instead of walking right through the door, taking a step back and thinking things through is the absolute best way to stay safe.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer today. But, I want to leave you with one final fun question to really think about. The rabbit used a hilarious trick about a lifting leg to prove the fox was faking. If you were the rabbit, standing right outside that window, how would you have tested the fox? Think about how you use your own wits. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this wonderful tale. Stay curious, stay clever, and I'll see you next time.